Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about an easy topic called beats, which is an effect of sound, and we're in a physics unit of vibrations and waves. And so what are beats? Well, I'm going to have you experience them in just a second, but I do want you to know that there are going to be sounds alternating louder and softer sounds. So like this would be the louder section, this would be a quieter section, using a transverse wave as a representation of what's really a compressional type wave. But the idea is that you'll have louder sound, a softer sound, louder sound, softer sound, alternating at a regular rate. And this happens when you have two waves that are interfering with each other, and these two waves have very close to the same frequencies, but not quite. And that's because over time, their crusts line up with constructive interference, making a louder portion of the sound, and their crust and troughs line up with destructive interference, and then it gets quiet during that time. So you hear this alternating louder and softer situation. So I'm going to go ahead and play some beats for you and show you an online page that you can use that's great. I'll put a link to this page in the comments section down below. But I want you to see if you can notice a pattern with the difference in the frequencies of the two waves that are making the beat sound and how many beats you hear a second. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Notice that the frequencies of these sounds are so close that it's actually hard to tell the difference between these sounds as we play them. But when we play them at the same time, you'll be able to hear the beat effect. My question is, were you able to notice the pattern? I'm guessing maybe not, but possibly. The pattern is going to be this, and you'll probably notice it the second time you hear it. The pattern is going to be the beat frequency you hear, so the number of louder versus softer sounds that are repeating is going to be based on the absolute value, the difference between those two waves that are making that resultant pattern. So like if you have one wave at 420 hertz, another wave at 425 hertz, you would do the subtraction between 425 and 420, and that would give you a beat frequency of 5 waves a second. That would mean you should be able to hear 5 beats a second. Alright, let me write this out for you so you can visually see the math of what I'm talking about. So again, let's say we're going to have two waves, one of 440 hertz, one of 442 hertz. Our beat frequency would be how much? 2 hertz, right? And what does that mean? Well, that means we would get 2 beats a second. Now I want you to hear exactly that. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that. So hopefully you're able to understand what we're talking about here. The math works out very simply and beautifully to say that the difference in the frequencies between the two waves that make up the resulting wave, the net wave you could say, is going to tell us how many beats a second we can hear. Lastly, I do want to say this is really useful for musicians when they're tuning their instruments. So if you have two musicians that sit down next to each other and tune their instruments, they may not even be able to explain this in terms of the physics, but what they're listening for are beats. And they know that if they hear beats, they are not in tune with each other. They are either sharp or flat. They need to make adjustments to their instruments, shorten the air column, for instance, or lengthen the air column on their instruments, or tighten or loosen strings, for instance. And they keep doing that until when they play next to each other, they don't hear any beats. And that would mean that they are in tune with each other. And so we don't hear the dissonance as well as audience members when they play the same note. Alright, and that's it. It's a pretty straightforward and easy topic. If you really understand what constructive and destructive interference are about, then this topic is pretty simple. If you have any comments down below, please let me know. And I'm going to be doing other topics in this unit as well as all of the major topics throughout the year. Hopefully this has been helpful and have a great day. Take care.